Welcome to Let's Chat About Life episode 4. This is going up just before the episode 3 is going up, so I am like a week behind kind of thing, but hey ho. Anyway, what I want to talk about today is upping my podcast game. As you may know, if you listen to this on YouTube or listen to this on Spotify, if there's any way leaving a message, leaving a like or something to follow, whatever represents whatever you're listening to on, please give it a go. And let me start the podcast. First, I want to chat about how life has changed being a content creator. I'm going to get into what my podcasting goals for the future and equipment I'm buying. So anyway, let's get into the content creator. It's changed my life, as in it's made me more confident with talking about things, talking about mental health, talking about that kind of stuff. And I feel it's a great platform, especially podcasting. I've always been the one to appreciate radio DJs and that kind of stuff. You know, when you listen to Radio 1, Radio 2, the broadcasters, you know, I would love to do that kind of job. People always say I've got the face for radio. But anyway, it's just my voice I need to perfect and get a bit better and talk more slowly and more pronounce my words a bit better. So I'm hoping podcasting can teach me that. With YouTube, you concentrate more on the visuals and the audio gets left behind a little bit, and it can get a bit overwhelming, you know, looking at yourself on the monitor all the time or editing. It can get a bit daunting. But audio, you've got to really pay attention to your audio. You've got to really sell yourself and audio-wise. You know, I'm a big fan of Audible and audiobooks, that kind of stuff. And I'd only listen if the voice was the voice I want to listen to, you know. And I feel that that's the way I want to go. That's why I have purchased something for the microphones. I've got a Rode podcast mic USB, and I've got the Fine M8, I'm sure it is, yeah. And I'm using it for Fine at the moment. And what I'm buying is a ZOOM H1, not the essential one, the normal one, the one that you could plug your XLR into and it can record. I know it's a bit. I know there are better ones out there, but cost-wise and stuff like that, that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to test it out. I'm getting it tomorrow, so I'm going to test it out through the week, and then the next podcast here will be using that if it works. Okay, I'm going to test it through this Fine and test it through the PodMic, and just to see which one is good enough. I doubt there'll be much difference in the audio, but it has got 32-bit floats, so that will be beneficial if I do podcasting in a noisy environment or a different place. And, you know, if I've got a cold one day, my voice goes high and low, you know, I'm trying to prepare myself for future podcasting, you know what I mean? One thing about podcasting, it's cheaper to buy the equipment than it is for vlogging videos, I tell you. Audio equipment is far cheaper than camera equipment. And yeah, I'm not going to give up on YouTube. No, don't worry about that. It's just I just want to further my creativity with audio. And then once I got it perfected, once I got it the way I want it and I'm happy with, it can be incorporated into my vlogs, and then my vlogs will be a bit better, pleasing to listen to as well as watch, you know. So that's my future goals, is to interview people face to face or online, mainly face to face, because the XLR Zoom thing has got 2 connections for XLR, so you can record 2 microphones, you know, as well as a lavalier. You can record off that, and that's got a lot of functions, but I haven't got it yet, so I need to experiment when I get it. But mainly this podcast is just to tell you how things are going to improve on this podcast. I want to talk more about mental health. I want to talk more about my life journey. I want to talk more about, I want to explain stuff, UFOs, general weird stuff, as well as life lessons I've learned, you know, and I've learned a lot. I'm 55 years old. You know, I've lived in the 80s, 70s, 80s and 90s. Most of it without the internet, most of it without mobile phones, most of it we had to solve problems ourselves. We didn't have Google to reflect to ask questions. We had to research stuff. We had to do this kind of thing, you know. And that's what I want to talk about, that kind of stuff, you know, how life has changed. So anyway, so I don't know what you think. Give me some tips, give me some things I can use. I mean, I am using, I said, the Fine plugged into the Behringer little US XLR thing, and I'm recording this on OBS, the audio and video, but I'm not using video, you know. One day I would like to do something more in-depth, something I can research and talk about, you know, like crimes or true crime kind of things, you know. I love to do something like that, research that kind of stuff and talk about it. Anyway, peeps, I know these podcasts are quite short at the present time, but once I get this all sussed out and all working how I want it, the podcasts will be a bit longer. I don't know what the average listening duration is really, because if you download it off Spotify, you can listen to it when you want to and that kind of stuff. So I don't know. Anyway, peeps, thank you for listening, whether on YouTube, whether on Spotify. What I have done is on YouTube, I've used the podcast RSS feed. So once the podcast upload onto Spotify, YouTube nab it and then create an audio video kind of thing. So it's just an audio with a static image. It does it automatically, so that way I don't have to do 10,000 things at once, you know what I mean? Anyway, I'm going to leave you to it, and I'll catch you next week when you'll hopefully better audio and more interesting, you know. I will do an unboxing video on my YouTube channel. This is on with the, well, it would have been up already by now actually. I haven't even got it yet. The unboxing of the XLR ZOOM H1. And yeah, catch you in the next one. Toodle bits.